This is the first frame for the new chicken coop, and this is the side. This is the right-hand side as you look at it. I'll show you later the configuration. It's only 3 sides I have to do fully because it's against a wall. And the bar, the second bar in from the right-hand side, this is the limit of the hen house within the chicken run. And tomorrow I need to put a 2x2 coming from the left-hand side for the door, because this side of the chicken run is going to have the door in it. So here I didn't do anything very exciting with the joints. I used these brackets, and where I could I put pocket screws in, or even end-on screws, knowing that the end-on screws into the end of wood isn't going to be very secure, but it just helps just stabilise the whole thing. So I've used 2x4s for most of it. On this frame, on this end frame, I've used 2x2s. I've used a 2x4 top and bottom, but I've used 2x2s for the 4 uprights, which all they've got to do is support wire. They haven't got to do much else. Whereas on these 2 side pieces, I've used 2x4s on both ends, and one a metre out on that side and on this side, because this is going to support the chicken house. I'm not going to do a separate structure for the chicken house. The chicken house is going to be supported by the frame. So I'll run a 2x4 across top and at the height that I want the floor to be for the chicken run. And then I will make the chicken run in this area here. It will be in this area here, and I haven't quite decided. I'm making this up as I go along, but I reckon it's going to be about 1 metre deep by about 1.5 metres long, something like that. And then, of course, there'll be a bar that sticks out all the way to here. It'll end up being a roosting spot for the birds in the daytime when they're not locked away. I've screwed all the panels together, and there's a back bar at the top there where the roof, a roof section will go, and I've extended that over a foot and a half or so that the roof can cover the nest box area as well a little bit, keep the rain off. I put blocks on the corners to get the leveling sorted, and it came out pretty well. It's fairly level. And then I filled in the gaps in between with bricks and with some capping stone that I had. And now what I'm doing is backfilling with another row of capping stones and then loose rocks on top, and then put earth on top of that. I mean, I planned originally to do the standard thing about putting chicken wire underneath, but with the rocky ground here, it was going to be too difficult to do, to get a level enough surface to put the chicken wire on. So I hope this is good enough compromise. Lots of small stones compacted down, and then earth on top, and then that extra row of capping stones on the outside of the run. I hope this is enough to deter any animals from interfering. Just wanted to make it a bit clearer what I'm doing with the hen house. So as you can see, there's this horizontal bar across the whole width of the chicken run, and I'm using that as the support for the floor of the hen house. And you can see the full size of the hen house there from this bar to this bar here, and then this section here is where the nest boxes are going to be, with external door across that beam here. I'm going to lift this a little bit so that the nest boxes are about 20 centimeters above the floor, and then so the nest boxes will then come up to about here, and then the remainder of the height will be a storage bin above the nest boxes in this section here. So that's what this is. I've allowed 12 inches here from this bar to the end to this bar, which is the recommended distance for the nest box width. And I'll probably put a couple of nest boxes there. That should be enough for the 4 to 6 hens that we'll have. So I blocked in the back wall against the brick against the stone wall with OSB. This wall here I'll probably just do with OSB as well, because it won't really be seen very much. But all the front and this side will be using tongue and groove and make it look much nicer. These are the two sides that will be seen. So this area here will just be blocked in with tongue and groove, but this area here is going to be a bit more complicated, because this is going to be a door, or maybe I'm going to split it and have two doors. And in one of this, if I split it, then one of those doors will have the access point for the chickens with a slide-in access door as a standard kind of thing. So that's going to be a little bit complicated to do. Originally I was going to do the door over there, but I thought, and I deliberately put this bar high enough so I could get a wheelbarrow underneath. But I think on balance, better off doing everything from the front. It's nice to see the chickens being able to go in and out from when we're viewing the coop from outside. So I want the entrance to be somewhere here for the chickens going in, which means it'll have to be built into one of the doors. And what I mentioned in another part of the video was that the floor, I'm planning to design this so that the floor goes straight across here, along the front and along this way. And the idea being that it could be either completely removable to clean, or it can have a false floor on top, which is the thing that you can remove to clean. I'm very conscious from having had chickens before that it's all the corners where all the nasty stuff gets, and also where red mites and things tend to build nests in the gaps. So hopefully this will be a good idea. And I'm just at the back here as well, I'm conscious that this is a bit of a vermin trap, potentially. Vermin trying to get in around the back of this frame. So I put capping stones, a layer of capping stones on the inside of the wood there, right up close, so there's nothing to get through that way. I may put a little bit of concrete behind that wood, but I'm conscious that that might trap too much moisture and then rot out that bottom beam, so maybe I'll just put gravel. Of course, the back there's going to be chicken wire, or what the Americans call hardware cloth, welded mesh on that section there and the whole of that section there. But it just needs to be absolutely sure that an area that won't be seen much isn't an area where animals can get in. I mean, probably the only animals you'd get coming in there would be possibly snakes or rats or mice, and all of which I don't want to come into the run itself. On the other sides, as I mentioned before, there are capping stones underneath all of the horizontal bars on the bottom, and on the outside I put a second row of capping stones. You can't see them now, I've buried them, and lots of stone. And the ground here comes like concrete in the summer, so this should be a pretty good deterrent, I think. If I detect any burrowing or something, then I'll obviously have to make some other arrangements, but that's the plan. Just showing a little bit about the progress on the nesting box side of the coop. So this area here is going to be where the nesting boxes are, and this area above will be a cupboard of some kind to store food and bits and pieces.
So that's the framing complete. In the next video, I'll show the building of the hen house itself and continue with the other work being done on the frame and the roof structure.